Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to a Punched Out Thursday to Die For, where we all use our punches and our dies to create our layouts. And for today's layout, I'm going to use this picture of my three youngest grandkids and some cozy days by Simple Stories and some cardstock and maybe a few other things. Well, punches and dies, of course. This is my background paper, and that collection has a lot of white in it, so I used white, but I will be inking a lot with pumice stone. And here I am just doing the packaging around there after inking around the edges. And then I'm going to pull out some Mr. Huey's warm calico and sprinkle it on there too. And I'm only going to be doing the outside edges because I had it planned for some layering in the middle, and most of the middle was going to be covered. I will have an accident in just a second. There it goes. And I did it slow motion. Look at my hand. I just poured that right out of there. I had knocked something off and glanced down in the floor to see what fell and turned it and realized I turned it. So I turned it right back. And yeah, so it was the smallest spill ever. And I am going to cover it up, but I just turned it right over. It is not the first time, but the first time in a while. That is my Stampin' Up! Fox Builder punch, and it's kind of old. But I don't think it goes quite as high on eBay as some of the others, but it is an awesome punch because you can make all kinds of little animals besides the fox. But I'm making the fox today, and I'm making him kind of a dark burnt orange to go with my autumn looking photo. And the face I cut, I was showing that I cut half of it. Um, I, well, it was a tiny bit more than a half, so I did have to use my scissors and fix it. But basically half of it for the belly. And then there's a little tiny nose in there. There are no eyes. I have used my smash pen and just made dots there. But I decided today I'm going to use that punch over to the right, and it's a 1/8 inch punch, and go ahead and put some eyes on there for him. I know people have used their owl punch because it does have eyes on it and use eyes on there, but the 1/8 inch punch I think is the same size. I did grab my white gel pen while I was thinking of it because I was afraid I'd forget if I waited till I got done and laid it there where it's right in my face. I wouldn't forget. Uh, that has little tiny inner ears, so I cut them out and kind of like a super light pink. It was a polka dot piece of paper, and I just used the background part. And there goes my white highlights. And I am going to end up inking them in a minute since I'm inking so much other stuff. But I didn't think of it while I was making him. This piece of paper here, it's pinstriped, and it's not Cozy Days. It's jelly bean soup, I believe. And it was a scrap that I had. And I decided to go ahead and use it on here just because the colors went so well with that paper right beneath it. And it's kind of the same color as the darker line, kind of like a diagonal stripe on there. Well, diagonal in two directions, but part of that pretty plaid. This paper is Simple Stories, but it's from the 12 by 12 paper pad. And I wanted to add a little bit of teal because there is teal in the photo, kind of a tealish green. And so I found that in the scraps and I thought I would add it. And so I will add a few other things that kind of go with it. I did a reinforcer on here. I did it in a dark gray, which I'll be using for that branch punch you see laying over to the right. That's a Tim Holtz one. And um, yeah, you can see that don't match because that bright pink on there, it certainly don't go with this collection on that side. I debated on whether to have more teal or less teal showing, and I finally decided on the less and go with that pretty pink plaid. I used my Tim Holtz die. I did get that off of Amazon in case anybody's interested, and it does cut out really well, as you can see. All the little pieces are not in there. I do have to use the sponge and the brush because there's so many. I am not going to do them singly, but they fall out really good. And it's called Slimline Burlap dye or background dye, one or the other. I already matted my photo and I used, for the gray part, I did use black, but for the gray part, it was one of the pattern papers that said something about love you and other fall things on there. And I'm using that dye there from Elizabeth Crest Designs, and I did cut it out twice in some gray wood grain. And one is going to be the background, and then I went ahead and used some little tile letters to, it's not exactly a sign, it's a subtitle, and it says, yes, this took teamwork, yay. And I put foam tape behind each one of those, and so they're standing out from the ones on the bottom. And it's just going to go to the side of the photo. And I will remember, there's the tile letters. I remember to show them. And I think it's a very old collection. It's a boy collection. I can't remember what it is, but I know it's a boy collection. And I probably had it 10 years. Um, I was planning on using that uh, tag, and it's got a gray color in it. Not quite like the others, but gray. That's why I went ahead and made the big one into a tag. I thought I'd match it. And I'm using the Tim Holtz tree slice, I think it's called, die. And it comes with an embossing folder too. I thought I'd mix some of the salvage patina in there, but I didn't want it as bright a gorgeous color as is in the ink pad. So I added some of the pumice stone to it. And yeah, I mixed my inks. And I'm putting it on there with a small brush because I don't want a whole lot, but I want it on there. And I will end up using it again later on my background because I wasn't done with it. I didn't know I wasn't done with it, but I'll just think it needs some of that too. My little fox, he's going to sit between the two logs, so he will need a little bit of foam tape to help him set a little bit more level. I started to do my leaf punches, and then, oh, I better get my title on there, or I might end up with way too many leaves to get it to fit, because, you know, I can get carried away sometimes, but I do like a good cluster of flowers and greenery and stuff. The foam phrase titles had gathered together, and I added with memory box dies, mini varsity, and I'm showing there that it comes all in one die, and you can cut them out and save them so that maybe the next time you don't have to cut any out, you can just already have letters there because there is 4 of each. Sometimes I do have to cut just the vowels out though. And I forgot my chicken wire die till I seen it. I can't believe that. I I looked at it and I thought, well, I think I can move the together if I'm really easy because you know those foam ones kind of crack. And so I moved it over so I could tuck some of the chicken wire underneath it. And I did have it planned on putting a little farther over, like part of it underneath the sign. But I figured this would be an easier way to put it, place to put it, since I forgot it. Um, the I took that Anna Griffin, I think it's called Scattered Acorns or Acorns Scattered, and I embossed that paper, and it's 2 different colors. One side's one color and one the other. So I wanted to use both on my layout, so I did punch out from both. And I also punched out some of the Tim Holtz branch too. And I'm inking all of that, and I'm using black on the branch, and I'm not using it on the whole thing. I'm just adding a little bit on there just to give a variation. But I need to go ahead and tell you about the photo. It's a screenshot. My son was out working in the yard, and the kids got quiet, and they were laughing and talking and everything right before then even. And he thought, well, they got quiet. He better look. He looked over and they were in the dog pen. And the only way they could get in there with Malachi was teamwork. So that's why my sign says, yes, this took teamwork. Yay. Because, yeah, it did. Because they had to, put him over the top of the fence because there was no gate on that fence. But they were sitting there, so my title is Gathered Together in Unexpected Places. Anyway, he sent the video to me and my daughter, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to take screenshots so I can do a scrapbook layout of it. And, of course, I probably would have took 2 or 3. But my daughter, she's seen it, and she took a screenshot and posted it on Facebook. Well, I just went ahead and took her screenshot for the layout. And yeah, they're in a dog pen. It looks like a little pen with those 3 in there, but the dog that they have is pretty small. I found that title that says, well, it's a banner or something. I'm not sure what you would call it. Label? Maybe it's a label that says autumn. And since it's a color that I'm using as an accent, I thought I'd go ahead and put it up there at the top. And I didn't decide to put the other mixed media on there until I thought I was done. And yeah, but I went ahead and put some of that salvage patina on there at first, that one little swish with just straight from the ink pen. Then I had better use the other one with it, the pumice stone, because it was kind of on the bright side. So I put a little bit of the pumice stone right on top of it. And then about the time, I get halfway around the page, it all ends up the perfect color anyway on the brush, so I don't have to put it back in there again. But I decided as long as I added that, I might as well have some stamping on here. So I pulled out this one stamp. It kind of reminds me of little teeny tiny bugs flying around, outside, those little bitty ones that try to get in your face all the time. Anyway, I went ahead and stamped it, and I was doing 2nd generation stamping. And I just told somebody a few days ago that I can never do it right. I always end up stamping just straight from the stamp pad. And I did. It was like the very last one I put on the page. Well, it was the last one. And I thought, oh man. So I took the wet wipey that I used to clean the ink off my fingers and tried to take a little of it off. If it did, it'd take any. I didn't notice. And so then I decided to go ahead and stamp some 1st generation on the page so it looked like it was on purpose. Although y'all know it wasn't, because I'm telling you how I goofed. But there's my cute little fox, and that is just the cutest little punch there is. And like I said, you can make other animals too. You can make a raccoon really easy. But if you look down there below, you'll find the links to everybody else who's doing the Punched Out Thursday to Die For. And maybe somebody that's on vacation, but you might find a video you want to watch anyway. And if you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so very much. And I appreciate all of you watching my video today, and I hope you found something that you like and want to try. But have a happy, scrappy week. Have fun checking out the other videos, and pull out your punches and or dies. Bye.